right. I think I'm live again. This is Melanie from Stamp with Melanie. If you were here before and you're just coming back, I hope I'm facing the right way now, not sideways. Good grief. Let's see. All right, that looks a little better. Not exactly what I had in mind, but it works. All right. Okay. Let me see. Trying to adjust this. All right, I think we're good. Okay, so anyhow, thank you so much for joining. I'm going to demonstrate 3 cards for you tonight. It's the 3 cards are from the Lovely Blossoms suite. That suite consists of a stamp set, coordinating dies, a really cool embossing folder called Lovely Stripes, some beautiful textured ribbon in cloud cover, some embellishments, white cloud cover, Old Olive, and Secret Sea, called the Moody Palette, glossy dots, and some Designer Series paper. The Designer Series paper pack has, I believe, 3 different patterns with 4 sheets in each. Yeah, let's take a quick look. Here's one of them. Okay, so these are panels. You just cut these out. Little square panels at the bottom. And that's the reverse side. Here's another one. I've kind of cut this one up already. And the reverse side. And then the last one is the, whoops. Sorry, there are 3 of each. So there's this one. Crumb Cake. And then Secret Sea. And then here's the last one. And here's some flowers in with a petal pink background. And then the Secret Sea and the cloud cover. And the other side of this page is this Old Olive. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Let's get these out of my way. For the first card we're going to make, we're going to use a thick basic white panel. And then we have a basic white panel goes on top of it. And we'll need these pieces. And this is one of the dies that's in the die set. I've cut it out. And we're going to use it as a mask. So we're going to start out, let's put this aside. We're going to start out with this panel. And we're going to use cloud cover ink. Now, I have the full-size stamp pad, but you know that's not available any longer. So it is available as an ink spot. And so I'll link that, the product number for that in my Facebook and in YouTube when I post the replay. So I'm going to get out my blending brush, put some ink on it. I'm going to tap it off because I just want a light background here. You probably won't even be able to see it on camera because it's going to be so light. This color is very light to begin with. And I'm also using a very light touch. All right. So there you can maybe be able to see a little bit of that cloud cover on my background. Now what I'm going to do is take my mask and I'm going to put it up here against the top edge of the paper of my cardstock. Ink up my blending brush again, and this time I'm not worried about tapping any off because I want to get a darker color. We're not going to go the whole way across. We're just going to do the upper corner and then down here on the lower corner. Well, I shouldn't have moved that. We'll just, you know what? There, you could, that looks good right there anyhow. We'll just move it down here to the bottom corner. And we'll do it again. All right, that looks good. So it's done with that. Done with my mask. Now I have a little strip of the designer series paper that I cut previously that will go right here. And I have one of the groups of circles that's in the dies, this one right here. Okay, and I die cut that in the basic white cardstock. And then what I'm going to do, grab my paper trimmer. I'm going to line this up so that so the line that's actually like a ½ inch. Oops, no, wait, not the ½ inch, ½ inch, is going right through the line dividing the circles. All right, right like that. And then I'm going to just cut this edge off. And I'm going to use this as a scalloped bottom for my designer series paper. All right. Put that aside. Now this doesn't quite go the whole way across, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it because this card will have flowers on the front of it that will cover any gap. So I'm going to cut it directly in half. Grab my Tombow. I'm just going to add a little dot of glue, tiny little dot, at the top of each of the half circles. Okay. Now I'll stick this one out of the way for a second. I'm going to grab my DSP. Line it up on the left side. All right, and now I'm going to do the same thing with the other half on the right side. All right, and then like I said, this gap in the middle won't show because we will be putting some flowers over that. So I'm going to grab this and I'm going to use some dimensionals to put it down here on this panel. But first, before I do that, I'm going to add it to my card front. Okay. And grab some Stampin' Seal. And we'll put this right here. Okay. Let me grab my dimensionals. And put them on the back here. And I'm just going to put that right in the middle. Okay. Just going to set this aside for a minute. Now I have this piece of basic white cardstock. And I'm going to stamp some flowers. And then I'm going to, well, first we're going to grab a blending brush. I'm going to show you a faux watercolor technique to use for the leaves on this set. And here's my sample card that I made earlier. You can see here are the leaves. And I used, like I said, a faux watercolor technique that I actually love. And I'm going to share with you how to do it. And then you can try it yourself. Let's grab a smaller piece of paper, though, because we don't need that big one for this. Grab my old olive ink. I have a blending brush. And this one, I don't need to tap it off first because variations in color will help achieve the look we're going for. All right. Now, and this is another cool tip. I just learned this. I'm pretty impressed with it. You know how typically when we flick colors with our blends, you tap it across the the cap, and it makes ink splatters all over your paper. It also breaks down the tip on your brush. And we don't really want to do that. So if you take a bone folder and tap it on the barrel, it does the same thing. The splatters are a lot smaller than flicking, but you're not destroying your tip. So can you see that? The last thing I'm going to do is grab a water painter and, okay, there's good water coming out of it. So I'm going to do the same thing with it. I'm tapping it to put some water specks on it. There's a few on there. If you have the old spritzer too, you can use that as well. You can also go like this to get some specks on your paper. It doesn't need to be soaked, just a few of them. All right, then we're going to set that aside to dry. While that's drying, let me grab a different piece of cardstock. I'll bring that in, and we can stamp our flowers now. We're going to stamp our flowers in Secret C. And I'm going to stamp one of each of the flowers. One big and one not as big. This one and this one. Okay, there's one. And the other. And then while I'm at it, since my card is going to be a birthday card, you know what, that looks weird. Let's do that again. Much better. All right, since my card's going to be a birthday card, I'm just going to go ahead and stamp that now too. So I can put this ink away. Okay. All right. Good. So I'm going to grab my dies. And we need the 2 flowers. And then this little bar for the happy birthday. Okay. And I'm going to use some tape to hold them in place. It's removable tape. All right, let's see. No, let's see here. All right, there we go. Okay, another piece of tape. One more, and then we'll get this guy. All right, let me cut these out. I'll be right back. Okay. Might have to redo one of them. Let's see. Happy birthday, that looks good. This one looks good. This one, I don't know, it's fine. Actually, I'm going to redo it. I just can't let it go. All right, 2 seconds. Okay. All right, let's tape this up again. Put 2 pieces on this time to hold it. Okay. Much better. Sorry about that. Okay, much better here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, set my scrap paper aside. Now what I did next was I took a Stampin' Blend in cloud cover and I just made some little marks on the flowers. Not really colored them, just kind of accented them a little bit. And after I did that, then I'm going to grab my Wink of Stella and add some Wink of Stella to them as well. Get this one out of here. It's not worthy. Just a little bit. Brighten them up just a tad. Okay, good stuff. Now, I'm going to do the Wink of Stella. As you know, it is not going to show up because it doesn't. It's just the way it is. It doesn't mean that when the recipient gets the card, they won't notice it, because they will. If you're not familiar with Wink of Stella, what it does is it lays down a real fine shimmer to the card, or to wherever it's used. And it doesn't photograph, but to the naked eye you can see it, and it really adds some sparkle and shimmer to your card. All right, there's that one. Now let's do the same on this one. All right, good stuff. Now what I'm going to do is the paper that I had drying, I actually made one earlier so that I wouldn't have to wait for it to dry. So here it is. I'm going to grab those leaf dies, and I'm going to, there's 2 sets of leaf dies in here. One has detailing with veins and so forth. The other cuts out. We're going to use the ones with the detailing. And I'm going to cut out 2 sets of the 2 and 1 of the 1 of the single one. So I'm going to do that, and then I will be right back. I don't need to tape these down because I'm not cutting out a stamped image. One more. really like this technique because it adds a lot of dimension and depth to the to the die cut, and it gives that watercolor look without the watercolor work. Okay, one more. All right. So we are ready to finish putting this card together. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the flowers and I'm going to put dimensionals behind them and then add them to the card right like this. And you'll see now my gap is covered. All right, so we're going to start with the dimensionals and do that. Let's see. There, that looks good. Okay, now I'm going to take my happy birthday, add a little bit of Tombow to the back of it, in the middle. Come on. Put that on my flower. Now I'm going to tuck my leaves in. I'm going to grab that Tombow again. So what we're going to do with the leaves is I'm going to put two up here. I'll put the other one right there. And then put the other set of two right down there. Okay? It's looking good. So let's get this one. All right, and we'll get the little one. Doesn't need a lot of Tombow, just a little itty bitty bit. You don't want your glue squirting out everywhere. And then we'll do this one. So pretty. All right, and to finish off this card, you would want to use some white baker's twine from the Baker's Twine Essentials pack. I'm out of the white, but in my secret stash from years ago, I have more white, so I'm just going to use this instead. It's the same thing. I'm going to tie a little itty bitty bow, itty bitty. Okay. Such a little thing. Trim off my ends. Grab a mini glue dot. And where'd they go? I have some of them. Well, there's some. Grab a mini glue dot. And I'm going to put the little bow right up here on my DSP. So I put down my glue dot. Now I'll just stick the little bow right on top of it. I'm going to tuck the bow under the greeting so it doesn't hide it. Okay, there we go. Now, my glossy dots are here. I'm going to add those. I'm going to put 3 of the glossy dots down. So I've got 2 down at the bottom and 1 up at the top. I like to use an odd number, so 3 works. And there's our first card. Now to finish the inside, I did not finish this card, but if I were going to, when I do, I'll just stamp a little flower in here. And that's our first card. What do you think? Do you like that one? All right, let's move on. For our next card, we're going to start out with a thick basic white card base again, and then a panel of basic white cardstock, a little strip of designer series paper that's going to fit on like that. We are going to use another scalloped edge, but this time in cloud cover, and I've already pre-cut that one. And then I thought I cut my greeting. Oh, maybe I didn't. Thought I did, but I don't see it. All right, that's no big deal. Wait, is this it? No. Okay, no big deal. We will die cut that. Oh, and here's what I was looking for. Here's the link to my online store if you wanted to order the suite. But I'm going to tell you more about that when we get to the end. So just hold on. Don't do anything with that right now. Okay. So I'm going to fold my card in half. Set some of these things aside so they don't cramp me. Okay. Set this aside. Now I have my paper already pre-cut, and like I said, I already cut this. When I do the scalloping on this one, it takes 1 whole one and then 3 of another. So this is the 3 I made for my sample card. Let's cut that one off. Again, I'm going to line it up so the line on the trimmer goes right down between the 2 circles, the 2 sets of circles. And then I'm going to cut, and where it's going to cut is right across the middle of that first row. All right. Save the rest of that. I'm going to grab my Tombow. And we're going to do the same as before. I'm going to put the little dots of glue at the top. Then I'll put down the designer series paper. Now for this piece, I cut equal amounts from the top and the bottom so that it would remain centered on the paper. Okay. All right, there's the top part on, and now we'll do the bottom. Okay, all set. Get these even. There, that looks good. Even Steven. Okay, all the glue we need for a minute. Now we're going to use some Stamp and Seal, and we're going to attach this to our panel. Good stuff. All right, now I'm going to grab the ribbon, and this is all part of the suite. And I'm going to cut a length of the ribbon and then wrap it around my card. So I'm going we're going to put it about there. Just wrap it around. I'm going to get a couple pieces of tear and tape, and I'm going to use that to hold that ribbon in place. So I'm just going to cut off the length, or pull off the length of tear and tape, and then just use it to hold my ribbon down. Make sure it's straight. And we'll do the same thing on this side. All right. Now I'm going to attach this to my card front. Get out that Stamp and Seal. Seal, Seal Plus, Tombow, it doesn't matter. Whatever your preference is to, for which adhesive to use, it doesn't matter. Any of them are fine. Actually, now that I look at this one, I put it on, I look at my sample, I put this layer on with dimensionals, which I can still do. We'll go ahead and do that. So, scratch that last statement. We're going to use dimensionals. Okay. All right, good stuff. Now, what I need is to stamp my greeting, which is hello friend. And I'm going to stamp it in Secret C again. And then die cut it with this oval, the oval die cut. So, get my flower out of there. Hello friend. You know why you want to put your stamp down before you pick it up with your block, in case it had like gotten a little bit out of shape when you peeled it off the sheet. It goes back into shape very quickly, and picking it up with the block will help ensure that it is straight. So, okay. Oh, sorry about that. If you were sleeping, you're not now. Okay, hello friend. And now we're going to die cut that. And here's the die I'm going to use. So I will be right back. All right. Here's our hello friend. And then let me grab, I die cut some leaves earlier. There's one. There should be one more in here. There it is. Okay. All right, good stuff. So now I'm going to take my leaves. I'm going to add a little tombow to them, and where I'm going to put them is I'm going to put one right here, and then I'm going to put the other one right here. And these are also part of the faux watercoloring. So I'm just going to stick them right like that. Let's grab some tombow. And a little more. Okay. Now, and take some more of that white baker's twine. And, oh, well, first, before I do that, remember those little all-occasion, all-purpose punches that Stampin' Up! Came out with? I think it was like last fall, maybe. And there's one that's a 1/8 inch circle. Here it is, this little guy. I'm going to take that and punch a little end on my tag. All right. Okay. So I'm going to feed the twine through the tag, under the ribbon. Come on. I know I have more than enough here, so I'm just going to cut that off. Oh my goodness. There goes my leaves. All right, I'm going to pull this, tie a little knot here. And it's when doing so, it's going to pull my ribbon to make like a little gather in it, which looks super cute. And then I'm going to tie a tiny bow again. All right, cut off my ends. Now you can either add a glue dot here, a dimensional to hold your tag in place, or you can let it move around, whichever you prefer. It is completely up to you. And the last thing that we're going to do with this card is we're going to add some glossy dots. This time I'm going to use the white, and again I'm going to add 3 of them. So we'll put one down here. We'll add one here. And then one more up top here. And again, I've added an odd number, 3. Now, on the inside of this one, I will also stamp a flower at the bottom to finish the inside. Last card that I have to show you is a Secret C card base. Then I have a little piece of cloud cover. And I have some of the dots that I cut out of Secret C. Now I need another piece of Secret C so I can die cut the one that we used as a mask at the beginning. This one, I'm going to die cut a piece of this in Secret C. So let me do that. And then we can move on. Moving on. Where did my extra piece of Secret C go? Oh. Okay. All right. Let me die cut this and, I'll be right back. All right. Let me grab my trusty little box for getting rid of my little die cut pieces. If you haven't seen this before, this is the take your pick tool with the brush end and the mat. I just put it inside an old paper pumpkin box. It catches all my little pieces in there, and then every once in a while I empty it out. That doesn't mean I don't get bits everywhere still, but not quite as much as I did before I started doing this. All right. And there we go. Look how easy that was. I didn't have to pick very many out, or any this time. If you're not a Paper Pumpkin subscriber and you have an old kit box, it'll work just as well with that. Okay, so I'm going to adhere this to this cloud cover piece. I'm going to use some Tombow to attach it. Okay. You don't need a lot, just a little dab will do you. Every time I do a class with non-stampers, I have to remind them over and over again. This is not Elmer's glue. Really just a little tiny bit does the trick. All right, there we have that. I'm going to adhere that to my card front at an angle like so. Okay, just like that. And then I'm going to grab this piece of the circles that I had already die cut, and I'm going to attach it with dimensionals. Okay. All right, and this will go on kind of straight. Now, I believe I've done all the rest of the die cutting for this one. So this one is going to be a thank you card. And I have leaves that I have already cut. 3 sets of stamped leaves. Then 2 sets of leaves cut out of designer series paper. There's those. And 2 flowers. Oh, and 1 more leaf cut from the DSP. Okay. So with these, first of all, I'm going to put my greeting down. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a length of ribbon that I'm going to put under it. Okay, here's the ribbon. I'm going to get out my Tombow. Just put a little edge of glue along the bottom, little length of glue. Kind of center it. And then I'm going to use dimensionals to put that down. On my card. Hi, Regina. Thanks for joining. We've been making cards tonight using the Lovely Blossoms Sweet. Oops. My glue didn't stick. That's really weird. It did earlier. But, you know, where did my tear and tape get to? Here it is. All right. We're going to put this right here. Now I'm going to grab my flowers. And I'm going to, actually I'm going to put my leaves down first. I'm going to put my, with these, I stamped them in Old Olive, and then I cut them with the outline stamp, not the detailed stamp like we used on the others. So I'm going to put 1 set of leaves there, 1 set of leaves there. And then the 3rd set, we'll put right down here at the bottom, okay? So I'm going to add some Tombow and get those stuck in there. go this way. I see what's the matter. I'm catching on my dimensional. That works. All right, this one. Can go right here. It doesn't need to go in as far because our flower will cover it. And this one. Will go right here. Now, I'm going to take my little flowers and I'm going to attach them with dimensionals. And these flowers were just stamped in Secret Sea. So stick that one there. And then I'm going to put this one at the bottom. Kind of like that. Oh, these leaves are still down further than I would like them to be. Let me see. I don't want to tear the whole card apart. Here we go. Let's do this. You guys get out of there. Oh, just what I didn't want to do. That's all right. It's all good. That works. Now we'll put this over here. Perfect. Okay, and now we have 3 more leaves, 3 more sets. And I'm going to plop these in. These are cut out of the DSP, the piece that had the crumb cake on one side. Stick those in there, and we'll stick these on the other side. All right. And then one more, and we'll plop him down at the bottom, especially since I ended up covering up most of that bottom leaf. There we go. Oh, very pretty. All right. Add some glossy dots. We'll add the third one up here. Okay, now let's take a look at our cards. Our third card, the thank you card. Then this was our first card, the birthday card. And then this card was our second card. Very nice, right? Now I want to send you the PDF to make these. And it's really, really easy for you to get. Today, I was going to offer this as a class by mail, and, you know, you would need to spend a certain amount of money, and then I would send you the projects and everything like that. But I'm changing that because this morning, Stampin' Up! Announced that they are offering a Lovely Blossoms craft class. This will be at 2 o'clock on February 19th, 2 o'clock Mountain Time, or you can view it on demand later. So now I thought, well, that's really awesome. That's even more reason to want to pick up this suite, because this craft class is only $25. I mean, you'll still need the products unless you're going to use what you already have on hand, or if you already have this suite, even better. But you will need the class, the $25 class. So when you order the craft class through my online store, which you can do beginning, I think, well, beginning next Tuesday, which is, I think, the 3rd. When I see that you've ordered the craft class from me, then I will send you the PDF to make these 3 cards. Plus, there's more. I'm going to put a bonus project. I'm going to add a bonus project that will be available to my email subscribers only. That will go out in this week's newsletter, which I'm holding and I'm not going to send till the end of the week. So if you want to subscribe to my newsletter, I will add the link both to the replay I post on my Facebook group and the replay that I put on YouTube. So you can look for that if you want to subscribe to my email list, and then you'll get the email with the PDF to the bonus project as well. So again, you can get the PDF for this class for free when you purchase the $25 Stampin' Up! Craft class, which they will lead for $25 on February 19th at 2 o'clock Mountain Time. Okay, which I'm Eastern, so I think it's 4 o'clock my time. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining. I hope you've enjoyed these projects. They were a lot of fun for me to make. And I will see you next time. Meantime, stay warm, everybody. Thank you. Bye.